everyone. For those of you that have been spending hopefully much more part of your day with us, we appreciate it. Welcome to the 2024 Protect Us Kids Safe Futures inaugural virtual conference. I am very excited to introduce our next speaker, Yuly Grosman. Yuly Grosman is a seasoned speaker, business leader, and security expert with a 25-year track record in the field. He started his journey as a young entrepreneur and went on to found a successful international trade business and has since established himself as a thought leader and advanced trainer sought after by military, government, law enforcement, and corporate sectors. Yuly's expertise combines situational awareness, de-escalation, and self-defense techniques, drawing from his elite security experience and extensive work across the Middle East and Africa. He has developed innovative programs to empower both adults and children facing everyday security challenges. With a passion for corporate and personal security, Yuly is dedicated to protecting vulnerable populations. His Reframe Response seminar, originally designed for executive, has become a transformative success in schools, offering comprehensive strategies to enhance community safety. Yuly's commitment to building a safer and more resilient world makes him a dynamic and impactful speaker, and we are so fortunate here at Protect Us Kids to have an opportunity for us to learn and engage about his expertise and what he's going to present regarding Reframe Response. So with that, I will pass it off to you, Yuly.
Thank you very much. That was amazing introduction. And hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session. I would run one more time, maybe the same introduction, and simply because I want you to understand why I came to what I'm doing right now. So allow me to share my screen. Just a moment, I'm still learning how to navigate. Yes, so I hope you can see my screen. Whether can you confirm you see my screen? Yes, great. So welcome to Reframe Response. This is the program that I created. And let me just tell you a small story. I usually have a joke about my expertise because I'm an entrepreneur since I was 14 for the last 32 years. And I decided to divide my life into sectors. One is the most beautiful, which is flowers. And the second one is security. Now, don't take me wrong. There's nothing to do to Guns N' Roses. I actually don't know how to sing. More than this, I think if I'll be part of any team who is singing, the group will collapse the next day. So here we go. I like this phrase. This is one of my best one. When you shout, you are heard. And when you speak, you're understood. We will come to this a bit later, and I want to tell you a little story. Let's go back to November 1989. I was born in Russia in 1978. 1989, Berlin Wall collapsed, and Gorbachev lifting up the Iron Curtain. My parents deciding to move from Russia to Israel. In 1990, we're packing everything we can pack, and we moved from Russia to Israel. Coming to Israel, that's me, that little boy. That's me. I can remember that picture. That little boy was hoping for a better life in new country, things that I never saw in USSR back then. And I was hoping I'm coming to the great country and I'll have more friends. Unfortunately, reality is a bit different. When immigrants or repatriants coming to a new country, there's a big changes in and a lot of problems coming from it. People came from Russia, well educated, with amazing degrees, doctors, professors, and of course they started to push out Israeli people and getting jobs with less salaries. Tomatoes. I never grow tomatoes, maybe just for myself, but tomato became my daily life present. Every day I was going to school, from school, tomatoes used to fly to me, over me, tomatoes, eggs, stones. There was a lot of tension between the young people in Israel and repatriants, again, who came and kind of took jobs of the parents. The next step, it's my bar mitzvah, 13 years old. It's one of the significant, I guess, birthday in Jewish traditions when a child became a man. This is how we celebrate my bar mitzvah, a war with Saddam Hussein rockets flying over Israel. At the day when I have bar mitzvah, we have rockets falling in our city. The walls were shaking. And of course, all this started to shape what I want to do. I started to do martial arts. That's me when I was 16. Later on, I joined IDF. And after IDF, Israel Defense Forces, I start working in security. And unfortunately, 2000, 2005, second Intifada Al-Aqsa, I was 7 years in the field of security, experience that you will never get in the books, experience that you will never get from any degree. It's field experience where you live the threats, when you see the threats, and you learn how to recognize things. I would say that the gut feeling usually come from these kind of jobs. At some point, I was very tired and stressed from all this, and I decided I leave the security field aside, and I joined absolutely new field, which is flowers, amazing, beautiful business. I was exporting flowers from Africa. I started a huge project there. I moved to Africa, opened companies. We were supplying flowers from Africa to Middle East, Eastern Europe, US, many countries. We created new brands, and at some point I decided I'm going back to security, but already combining with executive management experience. And here, just to summarize, so I'm former Israeli Defense Forces, security advisor, bodyguard instructor, contact combat instructor, counterterrorism instructor, as would I say, over 25 years experience, executive business experience, serial entrepreneur, global logistic executive, business strategy advisor, speaker, and I help executive how to navigate uncertainty, manage risk, and increase growth. Middle East, Africa, Eastern, Western Europe, and now in US. Our clients, embassies and bodyguards, first responders, law enforcement, border police, and so on. I will not go through this list, but why I'm telling you is because this is why and how I created a course that's called Reframe Response. Why? Because I'll make you to think bigger and differently. And here I want to stop for a moment, because everything I did in my life, I decided that it's not enough. Businesses is great, security is great, but how we can help society, how we can bring impact to this world. And we started to help, we started from the kids in Kenya. I was already living in Kenya, and we started to train kids in self-defense, survival skills. Later on, I created the courses for women self-defense, domestic violence. During COVID, we are helping state Asian hate communities. And when we came to create that course, and this is the most significant, I guess, help that we managed to do, it's more than self-defense, it's survival. What we're doing, we're creating skills that helps kids to survive. I will come to this a bit later. I would like you to listen what the girls have to say.
Girls in highly contextual. When you pass through a corridor, you meet a man, he wants to touch you, he wants to talk to you, and it's feel unsafe and make you even feel scared going to this lesson. You're in that process of praying, and the pastor touches you. He did not touch you like this, that's not apologize. But I would have maybe touch you or what you. We can no longer stand by as girls are being attacked and harassed across Africa's largest slum. With community organizations in Kibera, we are raising money to train 1,000 girls in highly contextualized and effective courses based on shadow Krav Maga. This is not just self-defense, this is survival. Programs to teach the girls on how to defend themselves so that they can feel confident and safe when walking around the street. I think it's not big enough for me. I can't let it happen to me. I think it's a best difference for women to feel that.
So this is the course that we created. This is the program and fundraising that we created with the aim of training 1,000 kids. And here I want to share with you the outcome of that session and how kids enjoy it. So first of all, thank you for watching that session. And now I want to actually jump to the end of this talk, the results, because where we're going to achieve something. And I'm starting from the end. So what we want to achieve as a result. First of all, we want to build confidence. The kids will have confidence in daily life. The second thing, it's anticipate situation to avoid. And the third thing, respond effectively if the avoidance didn't work. So how we can achieve it and how we look at the security, both from also professional side and also simplifies. So security and safety. Security and safety, it's usually prevention, anticipation, and avoidance, acknowledgement, and management. Now, what is prevention? Prevention, first, we need to understand who is the opponent, and usually refer to the fact that I like to see the opponent and to see through his eyes, how he look at us as a target from his perspective, because then we can something to prevent and avoid. So when we look at the prevention, we're trying to understand who is that person who want to harm. In our case, it's the kids. I'm usually talking to corporates, but we refer this to kids. So planning. The first thing, timing. The person will choose the time when to attack. Is it morning? Is it daytime? Is it evening? Is it when the child going to school or from school? When he's going with friends to get a lunch or going back? Is it when he's going to movie or he's going back from the movie? So he choosing the time. The second thing is location. He thinking and choosing where to attack. Is it dark corner? Is it elevator? It can be in the washrooms, in school washrooms. It can be any parts. It can be behind the house, next to the house. And then target, who he going to attack. Is it boy, a girl, is a group of kids, what age of the kids, and even how they dressed. And now he come to collect surveillance. This is professional word. Everything is simplified when we're talking about over countries, but still this is how the security is worked. And when we're coming to surveillance area, we usually refer to two circles. One circle is outer circle. Outer circle is usually where the opponent getting information from far. He don't want to be noticed. He collecting that information. And that outer circle is very critical because it gives us as a security professionals time to respond, how to respond, and how to prepare. And the second circle is inner circle. Usually it's too late to prepare for response. We can only do something according to already what happened right now. Once we sort it out, we coming to acknowledgement to understand what we need. We understand the type of the opponent, and now we can start build programs. When we talk about acknowledgement, we coming to resources and budget. So we know the threat, we know what we need, and now we need to plan. And when we come to planning, we're talking about identification. What are the threats? So again, is it someone who going to sexual abuse the kids or kidnap the kids? Based on that, we can plan the training programs. Needs, as I just say, again, if the person will attack child on the street, this is one type of program that will be created. I usually say that I usually like to teach people in real environment, and I don't like pre-prepared programs because I like to come to community, to listen to the program, and then to create solutions together with them sometimes even. So once we talk about needs, we're talking about now the instructor and knowledge of the instructor. And here it's very important if the instructor have the knowledge in real field. When I'm talking about real field, it's you have to separate what's going on in training in we call it greenhouse facilities, where you have mats, where you have equipment, nice training halls, and real environment. Real environment is when there's no roads, the ground is very slippery, it's muddy, you can't be stable. So it's very important when you choose the trainer and build the program that the trainer facilitator will have that kind of experience. Does the trainer know how to use surrounding objects for self-defense, such as pen and water bottle? I will talk about this a bit later, because not every water bottle can work, and not in every community, and not with every child. So once we have this, we talk about executive training. People who run these programs, they usually travel around the world. They also need training. They need work remotely training. They need courses about safety, security, and other things. And now we talk about management, the last part. Now, management is not organizational management, as you might think. It's mostly about management of the program and how to divide the skills that the kids need. And here I usually talk about, again, management and security and safety. And I always like to say that conflict is not a problem, but poor management conflict is a problem. It's the way how you talk and how you manage the conflict that might arise. And here we come again to division. So I know I'm running a bit more slides than usual, but we'll have also open conversation once I finish the slides. So we have two factors. One is internal factor, and internal factor is a group or population that can harm kids or can harm us. We're talking about friends. It's a closed circle, internal sector. Friends can fight with each other. They can talk to other people. We're talking about family, sometimes domestic violence arising. Schools, it's very known population bullying, group of peers trying to show who have more authority, who is stronger, who is weaker. And neighborhood, when we're talking about neighborhood, again, we're talking about power game, gangs, bullying situations. And according to this, we design training, because training for these needs, it's different from the training when we're talking about external factors. And here we're using method that's called stop violence without violence. And again, once I finish with the slides, I will talk about this slightly more. When we talk about this, we have four types of aggressors. We have victim, we have clown, and we have performance. And this is what we also explain to kids, because based on that, we can help them to choose how to respond and how to react to a type of attack. And what are the most common attack that coming in this situation? Usually it's grabbing, pulling, pushing, choking. Kids come choke each other, throwing down. They're trying to play some games. Sometimes it's morning games, unfortunately. Punches, kicks, and sexual harassment. Now, usually it's escalating. It's starting from the up, grabbing, pushing, pulling, and it's going to the end where we can see all the sexual harassment, and we can see punches and kicks. Sometimes students, even special forces, when I'm training them, they usually ask me, Yuly, but what if a person punched me? He's not grabbing me. And the answer is very simple. So again, we have to divide. One, when someone is grabbing you, catching you, choking you, he kind of waiting for your response. He wants to see how you respond to escalate aggression, to give him another chance. He wants, I would say in a simple way, he wants you to give him excuse to continue. At the same time, if someone wants to punch, to harm you in a badly way, he usually will not grab you. He just come and punch, in most cases from the back. Now, back to this program, when we're talking about all these things, which is grabbing, punching, and choking, we're talking about prevention, which is stop violence without violence, based on body language and communication. How we talk, how we hold our neck, how we hold our hands, and how we listen. All this coming on the hormone level, and we know how to transfer it to the exercises as well. And then we're talking about external factors. External factors, they are country and targeted. What is targeted? Targeted, it might be a fight between communities, between villages, where someone targeting kids from another village. Country, it can be anything. It's country instability, protest, and we know that in some countries, when we have this kind of instability and law enforcement, military involved, it's also come to aggressions, soldiers, even sometimes, unfortunately, rape and even kill people and kids as well. Poverty and sexual abuse, this is also external factors. And now when we talk about these factors, we're talking about survival skills. And survival skills, it's different from stop violence without violence. They absolutely different training. And I would like to take a moment, a pause, and I want you to look at this picture. This is our training in one university in Nairobi, training kids, students, how to defend themselves. I don't remember how long after that session, but this is the text message that I received from one of your students. And he's saying that after the training, he was attacked by 3 guys with knife, and he managed to survive. He was injured, but as he can say, it could have been much worse. And I always say that these kind of things really help us instructors to keep moving forward and create new programs when we see this kind of result, unfortunately. So when we talk about survival approach, and I might refer a bit back when I was talking about how to choose instructor. I will give you an example. One of the programs I was running in Kenya, Border, it's a motorbike. Kids, I don't remember if it was from that project or another project, they asked me, Yuly, we have one of the biggest problems when we're taking Border home, we're driving in the slum, and then Border slow down or stop. Another guy jump from the back, put something on our mouth, then rape us, and even sometimes kill our friends. So that's what I'm saying. It's very important how we can build training in the field with the client. Well, I told them clients, I would say they're clients. With the final person, the person who need the skill, he need to tell us what are the problems, and based on that, we can adjust our training. So this is just one example. We created skills, we created training for these kids, how to escape in this situation when they have to ride border because it's very far from home, and someone jumping and choking and raping them. Another scenario might be Philippines. It's a different environment, include water, very small spaces. As even from the picture, you can see things hanging, the clothes hanging out. And here you create different program that will include kids to understand the threats, to understand the environment which is around them, how they can use these clothes that hanging for self-defense. This is different environment, Mumbai. This is already sand. So how in this situation, child can survive using everything he have around him. It can be a leaf, it can be a tree, a branch of tree, or sand. And of course, we coming back to the US, homelessness and mental illness. It's not a new issue. It's unfortunately in many places. So how kids can deal with these kind of threats? And global threat, which is terrorism, kids trafficking, as colleagues speak before, and active shooter preparedness. And this is interesting thing because I just finalizing one of the courses, active shooter preparedness, which is called Beyond the Basic Active Shooter. And I explain again that not always you can use fire extinguisher for self-defense. So also here, when we train kids, we need to understand what are their capabilities. They're not strong, not always they fast. Some of them disable. And I can tell you from my personal experience, and I'm disabled veteran, I'm not usually announce this, but for this session, I would like to say, yes, I'm disabled veteran. And we always say that everyone deserves and have the right to defend themselves. So we like to adjust, and it's possible to adjust skills for real environment for every type of and kind of population. And finally, I would say that when we building program again, KISS is one of the best self-defense tools, but unfortunately, depend of the country, some kids simply don't have COM and they don't have kids. And here I would like to stop my presentation, and I would like just to explain a few things. So what is stop violence without violence? I usually use this example even when I'm training corporates, I mean adults. Imagine a situation: someone come to you on a street, in a nightclub, in dark environment, and push you. He come and push you very hard with two hands, maybe also shouting something. When I ask people, what will be your response? The first thing that come into your head, into your brain, how your body will respond. And I would say in 90% of the cases, people say they will push back. And this is what I see everywhere. Every country, every society that I was training, approximately 90% of the people say, I will push back. This is my first reaction. And now have a look. If you look at the graph, so the person came and he pushed. The aggression between me and him is going up. When I'm pushing him back, aggression going up again. Now, what is the next step? The next step will be, oh, that person, the opponent, will push again and harder, or we come to a scenario where the opponent taking something sharp or even maybe firearm, and then we don't know how to finish. So we teach how to de-escalate aggression by body language and correct communication when it comes at the things like pushing, grabbing, and all those things. And here I would like, again, to explain about water bottle, because again, what we teach people is how to use whatever you have next to you, on you always, for self-defense. Two different bottles. I would say that this is very comfortable bottle for drinking water to have with me when I'm jogging. However, for self-defense, it will be not the best, especially for kids, because it's quite big. It's not comfortable to hold it with one hand, and definitely not to use for self-defense. At the same time, this bottle will be amazing for our purposes. Yes, true. If you're looking to different populations, and some kids in some areas don't have money or access to these kind of bottles, and that's why we can always use pen, because most of the people, most of the kids do have pen, pencil, or just a small stick that can be easily used as a pressure point or as self-defense. Here, I would like to, again, pause a bit and to listen if you have anything to say, if you have any questions to ask. Ella, do you have any questions?
Not at the moment. I think we can keep going.
Okay. So we covered we covered, again, we talk about how to use water for self-defense. And when we come to sexual abuse, many courses provide training, not considering that a child, a woman, might be not as strong as men. And it's very important for us, for instructors, to highlight this issue during the training and to find solution. In many cases, pressure points and distraction will be the best thing. Let me take you back to the presentation, because we were talking about grabbing, choking, and pulling. And actually, I would like to show you a few exercises, if it's allowed. As we usually say, don't use it, don't take it, don't consider it as instruction, don't use it at home without instructor or proper training. But still, very easy tool when someone choke a child, choke anyone, it's to push. There's a small hole here, and it's very easy to push with two hands. The point of this exercise that you don't need months, weeks, and years of training. It's a very simple thing that can be easily applied. Most of the trainings, and we understand that the budgets in many cases it's problem. So many courses, many trainings, they usually few days. I remember there was a case, I was involved by Israeli embassy in Nairobi. We were helping some kids in rural area, up country. Unfortunately, I could not fly there, so the organization managed to bring instructors from the villages to meet in Nairobi, and we were training them, passing the information how to help these kids. I think so far I'm done with my presentation. I hope that it's a bit makes sense of what we're doing, because again, the reframe response, it's how you look at the risk, how you look at the threat from different perspective. You reframe the approach of how you respond. In many cases, I would like to say that response should be as a surprise. On the communication level, in body language level, when someone attack you, he already perceive some response. And we see it a lot during our training. If someone grab you, trying to shake you, trying to choke you, his mindset, he already have a picture, he created a picture how you will respond to that situation. So what we teach to reframe the response and to surprise the opponent. That surprise can save lives, and that surprise can help you with easily skills and easily self-defense. I think I covered quite a lot, and I hope that that was not it was helpful and not too scary.
No, it was very helpful. It's actually reality, right? I think more often than not, sometimes, especially online, the reality is skewed depending on where you live and what type of access that you have when you are online. And so sometimes a lot of people don't necessarily understand the truth, especially when it comes to protecting children, specific in rural and marginalized communities. And one of the things that Protect Us Kids is very focused on is ensuring that communities as a whole understand that more often than not, what happens in the physical space bleeds over into the virtual online space and vice versa. And so they're not always distinctly separate. A lot of the things that the kids encounter in terms of the things that you just brought up in respect to their safety, the threats that they have to encounter, they don't necessarily just stay within the physical aspect of it. It's influenced by online engagement as well as physical as well. There is one question that actually came up, and it's interesting. The question is, how do you tailor this type of training to address the needs of vulnerable populations, including children in marginalized communities? So are there any practical steps that attendees that are viewing this session can take back to their organizations or their communities so they can actually help create safer environments for children and vulnerable groups?
Let me just for a moment jump to what you say, and I will definitely respond to this question. You mentioned that kids running back to community because they think it's safe. And it's very critical what to say. We see it, and we always teach that. I will give you a small example, not necessarily with kids. Home security. When we teach home security, we always say home is the last place you want to be if you have a robbery. Don't go home. The same thing is here. If we're talking about an opponent who already study your behavior and he want to attack you next to your home, inside your house. So this is the thing that we teach kids. Maybe you should not run home, or maybe you should run from using different road or different approach to your home. Back to the question. So yes, again, we do help communities and organizations. Unfortunately, so right now I moved. I spent 17 years in Kenya, and now we moved to the US. I'm in New Jersey. So I'm traveling around the world. I help organizations. I divided my experience between, again, helping communities, and I'm also a speaker talking to corporates, how to navigate uncertainty, and how to, even inside the corporate, how to identify person who is in stress and how to address these things. So yes, we do help. We can train instructors. We can come and train by ourselves. I'm always open for more conversation. I have my website. I think it was published. It's very simple, yulygrosman.com. So I'm always open for any suggestions. And more than this, if you allowed me, if you want to study a bit more about what we're doing, I published research. We teach police officers, all this unfortunately violent situation in George Floyd. So we train police how to do the job without using violence. I'm not saying that police is violent. I'm saying that in every single profession, every single community, you can find people who are less or more violent. Sometimes they just don't have the right skills. So I published research how communication, body language can de-escalate aggression in any type of, in any sectors.
Thank you so much, Yuly. This is so informative. And it actually enables, hopefully, the audience that are joining us today and those who may be viewing the recording later, an understanding of just the dependencies, but also how complex the issue is when it comes to protecting their children, not just in the digital space, but how it blends over to the physical space as well. So this is extremely invaluable information. Thank you, Yuly. We are looking forward to doing great things, future engagements with Protect Us Kids.